income tax department.
No, no, I'm not talking
He's
about.
not going to deposit 10 crores in cash. Who will ever deposit 10 crores in cash?
So then I'll show the scheme. It has to be deposited if he has to.
No. The problem with the scheme, Mr. Solicitor, it provides for selective anonymity. It's not completely anonymous. It provides selective anonymity
Confidentiality.
or selective confidentiality.
Yes.
The State Bank of India, it's not confidential with the State Bank of India. One, it's not confidential with the law enforcement agencies. So a large donor would never take the risk of buying the electoral bond for the purpose of tendering it to the political party. All that the large donor has to do is to disaggregate the donation, get people who will purchase electoral bonds with small amounts which will be then purchased through the official banking channels, not through cash. If you have
Provided they have 10 crores. So I will have to find out 10 people who are having 10 crores and who are ready to risk that. But my lord, I need not tell you a lot.
What will really happen is this. A large donor will never put his or her head on the line by being in the books of account of the State Bank of India of having purchased.
They are doing it.
He won't do it for the opposition party, he'll do it for the ruling party.
There is no.
So,
Please.
Mr. Bhushan, they did not interrupt you.
Please, Mr. Bhushan.
So what would really happen is this, and that this is what the scheme is capable of, because it's selective anonymity, selective confidentiality.
My lord, I need not tell your lordships, my lord. A possible or potential abuse may not perhaps be the ground, but let me explain the entire scheme to your lordships. In a given...
Second, Mr. Solicitor, your argument that, look, if you were to strike down this scheme, you will go to a situation which had existed prior.
Well, can I
I'll just you can deal with it in your own course. That would not be valid in itself for the reason that we are not precluding the government from coming out with a transparent scheme or a scheme which has a level playing field. The purpose of ensuring that electoral funding relies less and less on the cash component and more on the accountable component. It's of course it's work in progress. We are completely with you. There's no difficulty. We are completely with you that this is a problem which democratic societies are grappling with. But the point is not that, it's not an all or nothing approach. The problem with the scheme lies is if it doesn't provide a level playing field to political parties, and B, if it suffers from opacity, as the argument for the other side is. This is not to prevent the legislature or the executive from coming out with a scheme which deals with these deficiencies.
Confidentiality goes.
No, it may be that the confidential, we are not saying what it should be. That's no part of our function.
That's not.
That's not a part of our function. But, and two very important things. Maybe the earlier scheme failed. Maybe it didn't get you as much of white money into the electoral funding as you would otherwise have liked to do. But look at the safeguards in the scheme, in the earlier provisions. A cap on how much of your net profits you can contribute. One.
I have an answer to that.
Two, a disclosure within your own accounts and therefore to your shareholders that this is the political party to whom we are contributing. What we are now doing is that in the effort to bring in white money into the electoral process, essentially we are providing for an information hole.
Can I respond?
That is the problem. The question, the motive may be perfectly laudable, no question about it. Question is whether you have adopted means which are proportional, or do the means meet the test of Article 14?
I take it, my lords.
Yes.
So that I am not discouraged, that your lordships are just putting to me what is their contention.
Obviously, that's why I am hearing you. Our views are never final until the last word in the case.
I know that, my lord, at 3 o'clock, my lord, it's too much of a seriousness, my lord. I wanted to break that seriousness.
Mr. Solicitor, our word is the last word, actually only when the judgment
is delivered. I know.
In fact, even after arguments conclude, we are all involved in parleys and discussions between ourselves. Formally
confer. This was just, my lord, to break, my lord, that aura of seriousness.
And putting questions is getting...
To get the answers. I understand, my lord. I have appeared before your lordship on hundreds of times. I'm just on the lighter side. I wanted to, my lord, So, my lord, your lordship's my lord, concern is right. But when I explain the scheme, your lordships would find that anything else other than keeping it confidential, my lord, will not be able to address the problem of victimization. And victimization incentivizes payment by cash.
So here,
And here,
just one caveat over here.
yes,
Victimization and retribution is normally by the party in power,
yes, yes, my lord.
not by the party which is in opposition.
My lord, the opposition may come
But
back in
just-
power
just-
after a month. My lord, I'll just, my lord.
So, but the figures which you are saying, that the maximum donations which are on paper, which are accounted for, are to the party in power and not to the party in opposition, may not therefore be logically flowing from that argument.
No, I am pointing this out, my lord, only to satisfy your lordships, my lord, their argument that because of this scheme, maximum money goes to ruling party. I am just trying to, my lord, show to your lordship
Just
there
one
is
more
a
question.
trend,
Just one
whether
more-
it is this scheme or prior to that.
Just one more question, and therefore thereafter the field is up to you. The other issue is, which is because of selective confidentiality. Now, what happens is when the selective confidentiality as far as donations to the opposition party is concerned, there are ways and means to get that information. And it's easier for the party in power to get that information.
It's not.
Let's put it very frankly.
Well,
You've been very
let-
frank
very
on the
frank-
first aspect. Let's be also very frank on the second aspect.
My lord,
Now, what is the fear is, because of this selective confidentiality, the opposition parties do not know who are your donors, but donors to the opposition party can be ascertained, at least by the investigating agencies.
my lord, I'll just tell your lordship, my lord,
So
nobody
they are
has-
put at a disadvantage to question you on your donations, whereas their donations get questioned.
I'll just, my lord, answer that question. You will have to trust, you means, my lord, we will have to trust at some stage someone as the final fiduciary position capacity, my lord, authority. Second, my lord, nobody has so far taken your lordships through the scheme and how the scheme operates. That's what, my lord, I intend to do. Lord, possibly this may not be 100% foolproof scheme. Lord, there may be out of 100, 5 people which my Lord the Chief Justice, my Lord, indicated. They might misuse it. But suppose I am a genuine person who wants to contribute without any retribution. Lord, I'll just give an example. I don't wish to give any example of a live election, my Lord, but imagine a state which is where election process is going on. Party A is in power, party B is likely to be in power, and both are neck to neck. As a contractor, my lord, I would like to, my lord, contribute to both the parties because I know that there is 49% possibility of party B coming into power. And therefore, I will have to be, my lord, contributing to them. I am on practical lines without being idealistic, etc. I'll come on transparency, informational privacy, etc. But let us take it on a practical plane. Either way, my lord, I will be incentivized to give cash because I do not know whether B will form the government after a month. And I do not know whether A will continue to be in the government after the month. Either of the way, my victimization and retribution will continue. So the only incentive is to pay by cash. Nobody knows what I pay. As against that, I will explain in the scheme that nobody can come to know, including the central government. Including the central government, I'll be able to show from the scheme. But every provision is made with some intention, some rationale, some justification, and some purpose to prevent some malpractice in mind.
But retribution is not avoided by this scheme. I'll tell you the simple reason for it. Under the Companies Act as now modified, a company is not required to disclose to which political party it has contributed,
Correct.
but it has to disclose how much it has contributed
Correct.
totally.
Correct.
So companies, say a large public limited company says, I have contributed 400 crores this financial year, right? Now, the party, including a party in power, whether in the state or in the center, knows how much has come to it in terms of electoral bonds from that particular company.
It can never know. Therefore, allow me.
No, the party, of course it knows.
If the donor discloses
Party
identity.
ABC, Party ABC knows how much has come from this company into its coffers. You also know from the company's balance sheet how much it has contributed in a macro sense. So that balance sheet no longer discloses to whom it has been
Unless, my
contributed.
Lord,
That mismatch is sufficient to know as to how much money has gone to the party in power. So it's not that the possibility of retribution is averted by this scheme.
so far as possible. But, my Lord, after I explain the scheme to your lordships, my Lord, your lordships perhaps may have a rethink on this, my Lord, apprehension. Because otherwise, my Lord, I asked them, what is a better solution? Reverting back to the earlier incentivized black contribution scheme? No, that's again a question. Out of 100, my Lord, everybody doesn't pay by 400 crores. Lord, they pay 5
Mr. Sharma, what is the better solution is for Mr. Sharma to answer.
Pardon, sir?
That's for Mr. Sharma to answer. Even if we have some answers or questions, we will not answer that because we are restrained by judicial review.
Yes, sir. Lord, so I was on page 105.
105.
5. My Lord, just to show that between 2004-5 to 2014-15, it's not because of the scheme, but because of the trend, because of the consistent practice of the contributors that, my Lord, so-and-so party got, my Lord, maximum, then the second, then the third. My Lord, they know who is going to be in power. My Lord, they are better judges, my Lord, than of the electoral process, then, my Lord, the common man or those who contribute, but they know that where to invest their money. And I'm using that expression, my Lord, which I should not have used. Now, please come to page 113. Page 113, income of political parties from unknown, known, and other sources. But here there was a complete anonymity or opaqueness or confidentiality, whatever name we may use, because once I pay in cash, I have no difficulty at all. Nobody can find out what money I have paid to Congress, what money I have paid to BJP or TMC, anyone. Complete, my Lord, immunity from retribution or victimization. Now see, my Lord, please see. Unknown sources. The first party is 2,000 some crores. Second party, 3,000 some crores. Please see, my Lord, the last, for which Mr. Farasat appeared, 471 crores. They say that we don't buy electoral bond. They better start buying electoral bond. And I'll point out, I don't wish to go into it, what is the source of their funding. Then, my Lord, known sources. Please see, my Lord, for the last party, my Lord, 15.04. Known sources, 15.04. They are running a government. And other known sources, 406 crore. And what is other known sources, my Lord? Please, my Lord, kindly. My Lord, we have BJP has 228 crores. And they have done. See the fourth column, other known sources. What happens when they don't buy the electoral bond? My Lord? I'm sorry, my last political party, other known source, my Lord, your lordship gets. But this is 406 crores. My Lord, I have their balance sheets. Other known source means membership fees. And membership fees is more than double than, my Lord, both the national parties, BJP and Congress. They have kind of a bucket collection. There are several things, my Lord, which the best thing to do is, my lord, to ensure that they get electoral bonds, my lord. Then only, my lord, this kind of a situation, my lord, please see the chart below. Regional parties, my lord. Now, the interesting figure. I will not take your lordships to examples of each of the parties, but see the first party. Unknown source, 766.27 crores out of total, please see, 819 crores. Last column is total. So out of 800 crores, 766 crores is unknown sources. Maybe out of 100, what your lordship say, in 2 cases, it may be true. But otherwise, this is the position.
In the other known sources, when they submit to the ECI, they give the names of the persons? No.
Yes, I think so, yes.
They give the names of the
They
persons?
give the names. 1,50,000.
For CPM, I'm not speaking
No, no.
about the CPM, I'm just saying that it's a sort of.
Let CPM defend itself. You need not bother. CPM is very much here.
Please, please.
You can rest assured, he will competently defend it.
Interestingly.
But I didn't name the party, my lord. History. Name any political party, my lord, that well, I didn't want to politicize it, but it was necessary for me to give these figures to your lordships. That if confidentiality
The Malays is agnostic to political parties,
Yes.
whichever side of the spectrum you are.
Yes,
The Malays affects the entire spectrum. So we're not here saying that a particular political party is holier than the other. I mean, we have a problem.
that's a problem which we are grappling with.
And this figure which you have said, we'll again not say more than that, is 2004-5 to 2014-15.
That's all. Well, I also didn't say anything. I only highlighted the period that this was, even prior, this was the trend.
Your chart was not lost to us.
I'm grateful, man. And the chart which Mr. Bhushan's client should have placed. It is his chart. He has placed all the charts except this chart.
But Mr. Solicitor, therefore that really, for us, would really still beg the question, in the sense that for us, it's not whether, the ruling political party in power presently is going to be the beneficiary of that or not. We are testing a question of constitutionality. And we take your point that, well, this is part of our political system. Whoever is in power gets the large share of the pie insofar as electoral contributions are concerned.
Yes.
So we have to deal with this uninfluenced by all this, by the vicissitudes of the change in political fortune.
I'm great. Because that keeps on changing. And party which is in power in the center, maybe in opposition in state. The state may be completely different party, like Lord West Bengal, it's neither in center. So this, Lord, in our federal structure, that keeps on changing. So your lordships are necessarily confined to, my lord, whether this scheme is constitutionally, my lord, valid and can appeal to your lordship. Now, please come to, my lord, page 6. What are the earlier efforts made? And, my lord, some of the discussion in Parliament.
Page 6.
Page 6 of my written submissions 2A. The same file, same document, my lord. Because I must say, my lord, to the credit of all our leaders across political lines, that everyone has tried their best. Lord, sometimes the problem is this, Lord, and I was, Lord, really told about this problem. In political parties also, there are divergence of views, whether to support this scheme or not to support this scheme. And the reason is genuine, practical, but a little humorous. What happens is, I am a leader, I am a local leader in a state, or third, fourth ranked leader at the national level. I get 30 crore by way of political contribution to my party. I would deposit only 25 crores in the party. In case of electoral bond, every rupee goes to the account of the political party. if I have to accept it, I have to accept only through electoral bond. That, my lord, unexpected benefit will not be available to me. So, my lord, there is a debate even amongst other political parties that this scheme works well. That this element is at least eliminated. Now, please see, my lord, what are the efforts which were made, and then I will link it to the speech of the then Honorable Finance Minister when this scheme was introduced. That every effort was made, every permutation, combination, this can be the solution, that can be the solution, everything was tried by the nation. And we reached the situation which I have shown at page 102 onwards. And now, with that problem, the nation, as a nation, I'm not going one party or other ruling